Hello, podcast listener. If you are a true JJ Meets World fan and you've been listening now for over a year, you know that Tucker and I were invited into a Concordia classroom and we got to present on podcasting, and then we interviewed the students and turned it into an episode of JJ Meets World. Well, guess what? This is the 2023 edition of that. Tucker and I were honored to go back and talk about what we do with JJ Meets World and to get to rap with the young kids and, really find out what makes them tick. So you definitely want to take a listen and enjoy. Also, I had so much fun. These students are just awesome. They pitch a bunch of different ideas that they've got for podcasts. And so sit back, relax, enjoy this episode with a bunch of mini interviews that we did at Concordia College in Moorhead. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. JJ Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. JJ has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Okay, I gotta know what your name is.
My name's Lizzie Ortmeyer.
Lizzie, nice to meet you, Lizzie. Lizzie, what are you studying right now?
I'm a theater arts major with minors in business and writing.
Oh, okay. So you're going to end up being a producer probably then, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to do more voice acting stuff.
Really? That's all right.
Just ate chicken strips.
That's all right. Okay, well, let's get into the chicken strips right off the bat, right? Okay. Yeah. So what kind of chicken strips? What do you, there's a heavy breading and a light breading. Are you a heavy breaded or light breaded? I'm
more of a light breading person, but I'm at the whims of the maze.
Sure,
which
you're not
going
gonna
to eat here on campus.
Turn it down, right?
Yeah.
What are you dipping your chicken fingies in?
I mean, I'm a condiment queen. I'll really go for anything. I'm a big mayo advocate, so usually no matter what I have access to, I'll find a way to mix mayo into it, because not only does it extends the length of the thing with more flavor, but it makes it creamier. They call mayo a mother sauce because it can make so many other sauces. And so I think if you start with mayo as a base for anything, you're off to a good start.
I've never heard that phrase before. Mother sauce.
Mother sauce.
It's fantastic.
I love mayo, and now I love mother sauce.
And now we know it's
you've got like a basic.
We had a friend,
tomato.
Mike Schultz. He would carry packets of mayo in his coat pockets all through high school. Are you gonna produce a packet of mayo?
I have at least 2 in my coat right now. I always keep at least 1 in my bag because sometimes you get a little bit peckish, and it doesn't hurt to be prepared.
The thing I hate most on the planet Earth is mustard, followed quickly by mayonnaise.
Oh.
And I never like it. I lie when I go to Subway and I tell them that I am allergic. So would you please not just wipe off the knife, but get another clean knife
You're
entirely?
One of those.
And I've only been called out on it once, Lizzie.
See,
once.
People who say they're allergic to things when they're not, just to give food workers a hard time, are part of the problem of humanity. Or you could just
listen to my order.
Yeah, but
does it hurt to get a new knife when I don't want the gross viscosity of mayonnaise?
Clear about it instead of lying.
But see, I've been burned by being honest, so I have now had to change it up so that I can take it away from me. And anyway,
have you had to fake the allergic reaction before? Be like,
see? Be like, I told you. No, but so I'm also a Midwesterner, right? So if someone serves me something with mayonnaise in it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to suck it up here, and I'm really going to have to show it. So for example, Tucker's grandma, rest her soul. One time we're visiting her, and I bought a bunch of fruit, and I was vegetarian at the time. I was deciding not to eat any meat. And so I bought the fake sausages you can get, the frozen fake sausages.
For sure.
And so she makes the meal, and it's chicken and dumplings, which is a specialty of Mama Luke, Tucker's grandma. And she cooked my sausages in chicken fat because she's like, I just thought they could use some flavor. And I was like, I appreciate that, Mama Luke. Now I can't eat these. And I brought all this fruit, and she's like, I'm going to make a fruit salad. Fruit salad in Kentucky is just like a ton of mayonnaise and fruit. No lemon juice, nothing else.
Mayo?
Mayo.
Okay. In that case, I think Cool Whip is going to be your mother sauce of choice.
Thank you. We have now arrived at an understanding between the two of us. So I also want to call this out. So what else is in the container that you brought?
Fries.
Okay.
And honey mustard sauce and sweet and sour sauce, both of which I mixed with mayo.
So you are the condiment queen. Like
I am.
I don't want just one. I want to taste all. I want to go on
flavors of the world.
An adventure.
Yeah.
When it comes to it.
No, exactly. I think people get stuck in, this is what I eat every day. And so, like, people will get the same sauces when they get their chicken strips. It's like, man, you could be going to new places every day via your mouth, just with a different sauce.
Lizzie, do you feel that boneless buffalo wings and chicken fingers are interchangeable? I'll also throw popcorn chicken in there.
Okay, so popcorn chicken is different because I think popcorn chicken is mostly the bread.
Agreed.
Like you're there for the bread. There's the smallest little crunchy bit of chicken in there, but that's not really a chicken strip. It's so small. And boneless chicken wings are typically, what I've found, covered in sauce. And so that's a different texture experience. Recently, I was discussing with someone, I can't remember who it was, but we were talking about the difference between chicken strips and chicken tenders.
Yep.
Now, my vote is that chicken strips are the ones where they've just broken apart all of the chicken and then put it back together in whatever shape they want, kind of like how
mechanically separated chicken.
Yeah, the way that like McDonald's can pump out the 4 or 5 different shapes of chicken nugget. That's how they make a chicken strip. But a chicken tender is different. Chicken tender is the whole strip of meat.
It's breast meat that they've cut into strips.
Exactly. You can pull it apart like little piece by piece.
I was on a first date a long time ago.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much. It did not go well.
Oh,
and this was the reason we were at a bar and I ordered chicken fingers because I'm like, this is perfect. Like, chicken fingers, it's easy. I won't get all messy. It's not like I'm having a pulled pork sandwich or something. And I took a bite into my first chicken finger and I'm like, this chicken finger tastes gross. Like, what is it? So I dip it in more ranch dressing because I'm a ranch guy.
Yeah, I respect
before
that.
anyone in this room says most ranch is mayonnaise based, I know. Get off my back.
It's the dill that makes all the difference.
And I take my second bite and I'm like, there is something wrong with this. They were raw. They were uncooked. Ooh. And so I pushed the plate away and the server comes over and they're like, is there any problem with this? And I'm like, yeah, these are raw inside. And I was trying to be really cool about it and not make a big deal. She's like, oh gosh, I'll get you another plate. And I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. She's like, no, I'll get you another plate. And I was like, listen, right now my stomach does not want anything else in it right now. I'm lucky if I don't evacuate everything that currently is inside of it.
Yeah.
And the date itself did not go well after that because she's like, why wouldn't you just get the chicken fingers? Like, why not? So we were supposed to talk at one point about if you were going to start a podcast, what would it be about? Is it about chicken fingers?
No.
No, you just lost a subscriber.
No. Listen, I'm sure that they'll make an appearance. Just for you, they'll make an appearance. But
like a weekly chicken finger update.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that the podcast will be a piece that I write, a fantasy, like D&D based piece. I want a detective discovering stories, but there's magic and wizards and all of that stuff involved. And then maybe some fight scenes so I can throw some sound effects in there. But I'll make sure that she's discussing her new findings over a basket of chicken strips.
JJ, how long have you been playing D&D for? What's your longest campaign?
9 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we tried old Boot Hill, which is the Old West version from the D&D creators.
Yeah,
that did not go well. Lizzie, we got to wrap this up. But listen, we need to talk about this some more.
No,
okay,
absolutely.
So find me online.
Will do.
I just learned how to use Snapchat on Friday.
Yay.
Yeah. Double J347.
Double J347.
Yeah.
I got it.
Because 3 + 4 = 7. That's my justification. And it's spelled out DOUBLE J.
Oh, double J.
347.
Only one J, though.
Just one J. Because it's,
J,
he's inferring that there's 2 somewhere. And then 3 + 4 = 7.
Got it.
All right.
Got it.
There you
I'll
go.
take a look.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Thanks for having me on. My esophagus was going.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That did not pick up on the mic, so you're good.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And what's your name? Dylan.
Let's get after it.
Dylan, welcome to JJ Meets World.
Thank you.
Do you have a nickname?
Big Dill.
Big Dill. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna rock with that, Big Dill. That's an awesome nickname. Has it been your nickname for a long time, or?
No, I was kind of short up until like probably my junior year of high school, and then just hit a random growth spurt and
How tall are you today?
about 6'6".
Whoa, 6'6". This is going to be a real bummer for you, but I just interviewed a guy who's done a 20-year study on centenarians, people who are over 100 years old. No one over 5'6".
Oh,
I know, yeah.
Thank
so
you.
tall people
Thanks for
just don't.
sharing.
Tall people just don't live as long. They just don't. I'm 6'3". I mean, I'm stunted compared to you. I don't want to play basketball with you. I don't want someone comparing us of who could get the can from the higher shelf.
right.
But that's fine. So because you surround yourself with tall people.
I'm 5'7", so I missed it by.
Yep. Also, a lot of other things in your lifestyle, Tucker, keep you from being 100 years old. What are you studying right now?
Communications major.
Okay, so what does that mean? Because I hear people say communications, and then they really can't like say what it's about.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer for you.
What do you want to do with it? How about that?
My goal is to be like on the radio or on TV, a sports broadcaster. So something
Awesome.
like that.
So you want to call the games?
Call
You want
the
to do the
games.
coach's corner afterwards, stuff like that?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. I'm not a huge sports person, but one of my best friends is a dude named Chase Miller, who has been doing sports broadcasting since he was in high school. And so he does everything from calling girls volleyball games all the way up to like Class B basketball in North Dakota is massive during the spring. And so he loves it. And so you don't have to, some people think, well, I got to move to a much bigger market to break into that. You can be the superstar rolling into town and they're like, Big Dill is here. He's calling this football game because Rozo's going to go to the state championship if they win this one.
Right.
What's your favorite sport?
Probably baseball. I'm in both basketball and baseball here at Concordia. So,
What kind of a strike zone do you have?
yeah. Well, I'm
Right?
a pitcher. So,
Oh, yeah. Because you got long arms.
Yeah.
You whip it a little faster, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you want to get into sports broadcasting. Communications is the way to do it with that, right? What do you think you bring to it? Like, what's your take on it?
I don't know. I have conversations with my girlfriends about sports, and she'll just always be like, how do you know so much about a certain player or a certain team or stuff like that? So I feel like I just bring an extensive amount of knowledge to sports, not so much school aspect, but sports in general. So
I think it's important that people find their passion
right.
and then the education that can support that passion, right? So I'm huge into the Muppets, right? Love the Muppets. There's no college course for Muppet studies anywhere yet.
Not yet.
Not
Right,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's all these other things that you can learn about, television production, and you can go into, writing and things like that feed into me eventually making my Muppet movie, which is a take on the Sunshine Boys, but it's Fozzie and Kermit 20 years in the future, and Kermit and Piggy have had a big fight, and Piggy marries Fozzie. And so it's them getting together to do a show, like a get back together show in their golden years, and then it turns out it was just a nightmare that Kermit had.
I love that.
That's a great idea.
You've seen the proposal that there could be a Muppet movie that's like a D&D campaign,
Yes.
right? And then you can either you can invert and have one human actor surrounded by Muppets, or the inverse, where there's one, it turns out there's just one Muppet,
right?
Which would be a hard sell, I think.
How do you choose just one?
Yeah.
They are the Pringles of classic characters. You can't just have one.
Can't have just one.
Right? I digress. Unless you're a Muppet fan. You want to talk about Muppets? No, okay. That's fine.
You can go for like another 90 seconds, we'll say. So, Dylan, you should tell JJ what you're thinking about doing for your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not like you weren't warned that might come up.
Yeah, no, I've thought about it a lot in the recent weeks, but not at all. Probably just interviewing maybe some of my older teammates and or just talking with them and seeing how their experience at Concordia has been. And
Dylan, I work next to, like, in my building, there is an all sports radio station, right? So, like, you ever listen to the Power Trip morning show?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so I work with those guys, right? They're out of Minneapolis, I'm out of Fargo, but we're the home of the Power Trip. Do you remember at the height of COVID when we didn't play a professional sport for like 6 months, and yet somehow they had something to talk about every day, right? That's the beauty of a sports podcast. There's constantly new information. There's constantly new content that you can push out there. And so as long as you find whatever your niche is with it, right? So like in the movie Anchorman, there's Whammy, right? Is their sports guy, and that's his thing. You got to find what your little catchphrase is in the sports world. A guy I used to work with named Scott Miller, when he called games for NDSU or for the Red Hawks, it was my, oh my, and that was his catchphrase. So find that catchphrase and then incorporate it. And then all of a sudden you're going to make buku bucks selling T-shirts with that, like the Power Trip Morning Show.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. Good to meet you, Big Dill.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
All right, that's the thing.
Hello.
And what's your name?
I'm Maya.
Maya. Nice to meet you, Maya.
Nice to meet you, JJ.
Maya, this is the math portion of the podcast.
You're literally joking.
So-
You cannot. You are messing. No, tell me you're messing with me.
It's not.
Did you know that I almost failed high school because I almost failed a math class? I almost was not here because of math, and so the fact that you're bringing that up right now.
Maya, let's explore your trauma.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's get into this.
This is therapy podcast.
I passed high school math on a D-.
I think it was about the same for me.
And then when
That's why
I'm
a comm major now.
When I was going to go to college and I went and tested, and they're like, you have to take the level 99 course. And I just didn't go to college after that. So I was like, nah, I'm good.
Ooh, now I'm
Don't
flustered.
follow my path, though.
Maya, what type of math are we talking about? Was
All of it. Anything
algebra,
that has
geometry?
numbers, anything that has numbers or adding or minusing or anything, even like if it's not math. Music theory, that's math to me. Science, that's also math to me. Honestly, I think it's just that I don't like making my brain do hard work. I think that's probably it. But
do you want to know the biggest lie that's been debunked? Like the biggest lie. When I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, we had to learn the Pythagorean theorem and we had to learn cosine.
I had to talk about that in my theater class the other day.
Okay. Do you know what my teachers told me? And it's like when you became a math teacher, they tattooed it to your palm so you could always read it. It's like, you're never going to walk around and always have a calculator. That's why you got to learn it.
Oh.
Guess what? My cell phone is a calculator. I've got it. Not only that,
Surprise.
it's got the internet so that I can also look up the equation.
That's the thing. You don't need math. You don't waste your time with math. There's cooler things like,
I mean, we can
I
say
don't know,
this.
Hot Wheels and like NASCAR and stuff.
Those are very specific.
I'm going to
I
hope
don't know.
that,
I just got cars on the
that Doug
brain.
Anderson never listens to this episode. Doug, if you are listening, I think math is important.
Ooh. Is
My
Doug?
cousin-
Is he like a math
the
stan or something?
He's the chair of the math department at Concordia.
So much love to you,
Who's
Doug.
Doug? Like your cousin? Or?
I have never heard math stand before,
Math
which is
stand.
pretty great as well.
My cousin Jeremy Blake, some people in this room might know him, Moorhead High math teacher. So math is my sister used to teach math. So a lot of math in my
Yep.
family.
Well,
But
my mother's a math teacher.
Oh.
That's where like
Wait, what?
That's like where that's where the trauma comes from. I mean, like the first thing it was like before I could speak, she was like, "What's 1 + 1? What's the Pythagorean theorem?" and stuff like that. No, I used to read. She used to have these books called "Mathematicians Are People Too," and it was little anecdotes about the greatest mathematicians in history. And that was my like magic treehouse. That was my Junie B. Jones. That was what I read. I would read the "Mathematicians Are People Too" series. And I remember I went to the library. I said, "Do you have the next book in this series?" And they said, "You are such a loser. Get out of my face." Anyways, so I did like math at one point in time.
Children's librarians are real hard.
They are. I did like math at one point in time. I don't know what switched. I don't know. It could have been like, I don't know. I also am in that generation where I grew up without technology. Then all of a sudden it was there. So I don't know. Maybe that screwed me up probably. I don't know. I don't like to think about it.
Hold on. How old are you?
How old am I? 22
Yeah,
now.
okay. So we're talking about like the year 2000, right?
Yeah.
AOL Instant Messenger already exists. The internet's been around long
This
enough.
is true.
The movie Hackers has
Did
been
I
out for
know-
like 5 years.
I didn't know what that was, though. I was a child. They
Right,
said, "Wait, what's
but-
AOL?" I'm like, I can't tell you what AOL is. I can tell you about my favorite mathematician throughout history. but like,
Who's your favorite mathematician?
Oh no, that was an example. I don't
Euclid.
think I'm my favorite.
Euclid.
I'm my favorite mathematician, I'd say, because as my mom would always say, she said, "Everyone's a mathematician. Everyone can do math. You just have to put your mind to it." And I was like, okay. But what if I don't want to?
NASA once used the phrase like anyone can be an astronaut, and then 2 years later they
Ratatouille?
repealed that because they're like everyone can't be an
Oh,
astronaut.
I thought you were gonna say Ratatouille stole
Like
it
everyone
from
can
them.
be a
Everyone
chef?
can cook.
But you know, like that's not true either, right? Anyone can cook. Like
I
can start something on fire, but not everyone can be a
That's
great
true.
rat
Cooking,
chef.
Cooking is an art. Cooking is an art, not a science. Anyone can do the sciences. Anyone can do math, but not everybody can do an art, such as.
Would you agree with this? I agree with you. I am not a
Okay.
mathematician.
Good. Okay.
No matter what that book said, it's a liar. I don't think math to me is important. Math isn't important to you, but it's good that math is important to other people so that they can do the
Yeah,
things like
that's
figure
true.
out, how bridges
yeah,
need to stand.
That's true, but do we really need bridges? I've decided
I
in
didn't know we were gonna get on
2023
the
I'm going to push the
anti-bridge stance.
boundaries. I said I'm pushing the boundaries in 2023, and that's the first boundary pushing question I would like to pose to you. Do we really need bridges?
I can't think of a logical reason to
yes.
say
What
yes.
about
Yes, we do.
boats?
Yes.
Yeah,
But,
ferries.
like,
We
if we
can
don't-
ferry
yeah.
back and forth.
We have boats, so why do we need bridges? I don't know.
No,
I don't
no.
understand how the world
If we
works.
don't have bridges, what are trolls going to live under?
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's the real question.
If we got rid of bridges, imagine the amount of homeless trolls we would have just
it
walking
is really
around.
more of an ethical question than an infrastructure question, I'd say, in my opinion. So that's
So we know
Thank you for
your
bringing that up.
We know
It
your
needs to be
podcast
talked about.
is not about math or bridges.
Or it's about against being math and bridges. Like
Yeah.
it's the anti. She's gonna open.
I could just do a things I hate podcast. I actually did used to have a podcast in high school called the Things I Hate podcast that my friends and I had, and we just talked about things we hated. It only lasted for one episode because we kind of got through all of it, and then we were like, oh well, it's kind of it. But
I guess we already made all the enemies.
yeah,
Okay.
You got to split those things up into individual episodes. so
yes. If I were to do it again, I would have
Today,
stylized
subtraction.
episodes. Yes, and then bridges, and then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Maya, I want to know if you're going to launch a new podcast.
Yes.
Do you build upon the things that you hate? Is it about things you love? I started 2023 off by declaring it is the year of the wolf.
Ooh.
And I have been actively learning about wolves
Okay.
all 2023. And I got to tell you, there was a lot of stuff about wolves I did not know. I got in touch with the International
Wolves are
Wolf Center
sick.
in Ely, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I am well educated now when
Wolves
it comes to the
are really
wolf.
neat. Yeah, I
I
love
do
a
not
wolf.
wear any wolf clothing, though.
Not like the shirt with
Nope.
like the moon. But those are the coolest shirts that exist.
Three Wolf Moon?
Yeah,
Is that
right.
what it's
the
called?
Three
Yeah.
Wolf Moon. No,
You got it? Okay.
I refuse.
You,
yes.
Okay, so you're coming back on Wednesday. Yes, you are aware
Yeah.
of Wolf Wednesday, Wolf Shirt Wednesday.
Was that a thing?
That's a
Is that
holiday.
real
That's a thing. I do know many people who
If I
participate in
walk
Wolf
in
Shirt
here
Wednesday.
wearing a wolf shirt and no one else is wearing a wolf shirt, and
Solidarity.
I
I
get
think-
punked on this thing. By the way, Punked was a television show that existed before technology, apparently.
What's a TV show? I only know TikTok.
So tell me what your podcast is going to be
Okay,
about.
paranormal prank podcast parody.
Paranormal prank podcast parody.
Yes.
Okay, so it's ghosts calling people and telling them the refrigerator they're running.
It's a parody of a paranormal prank podcast. So it's a guy who has a prank podcast where, okay, so it actually, you really have to get into the My Disney cinematic universe to truly understand this. Last semester, I made a short film called Thank You 5. And in that, there's a whole bunch of characters that my friends played. They just, I was like, make up a funny character and then do it. And just, it was all improv based. There were a whole bunch of people who didn't get to be on screen long enough. And I'm like, you're too funny to just like throw this character to the side. I'm bringing them back for a podcast. So basically, these people are going to go to a haunted house that's not actually haunted. He's just going to prank them. But then, of course, it is actually haunted. It's going to be very Scooby-Doo. It's going to be very... Probably, I don't know. The host guy is just like the most annoying, douchey influencer guy. His name is Jason Hunter. He's this character that my friend Jackson is just killing it. And I really feel bad when I say you're really doing good playing this douche, because I don't think he's doing a lot of acting, to be completely honest. I think he's just got,
the villain is
I think
always
he's
the
just got
best,
a part
whether
of
it's
that
a
in there.
thin
And we
veil
love
or
him,
thick.
but yeah, no, it's fun. You got to get it out sometimes. But yeah, it's going to be meta and fun, and I was inspired. My favorite podcast is Kelly and Kelly's This Sounds Serious, which is a parody of true crime. Basically, it's like all scripted, and it sounds like a true crime podcast, but it's completely made up, and I think it's brilliant, and I wanted to do something like that. So something along the lines of that. I
love that.
being
That sounds awesome.
meta and doing stuff that's never been done before, but honestly, if it's a podcast, it's probably been done before. So
Hey, you never know. I mean, you got to get real specific, but like it's good. You know, like I love cooking on cast iron under the full moon, and I only
and then
cook
you turn
like,
into a wolf.
right, exactly.
Because that's your whole thing
For
now.
werewolf enthusiasts and those who just enjoy it.
Oh,
Maya, thank you
yeah.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Just go ahead and pull that as close as you can.
Oh, I don't know if I should bring my iPad or not.
You can do, yeah. What you want it? A little security iPad. There you go. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, now I look like the real jerk on there. Okay.
Now, if you say something problematic, I'll forever have
It'll
it.
forever be typed out.
Transcription.
That's awesome. That's great. I am a big fan of documentation in general.
Right on there. You want a little security guy?
Yeah.
Like that's the jerky comment. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Right
it's
there.
in there. It's right there.
Don't cancel me, please. Like,
We'll
trust
see,
me.
I guess.
And I'm sorry, what was your name?
Abigail.
Abigail. Okay. Abigail, what are you studying?
Biology and theater with the minor in communications.
Okay, so biology and theater, those things don't normally mix.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you bring those two things together?
Well, here's the thing. I started off college thinking I was going to be an OBGYN until 2 years in, I realized, wow, this is a lot of work and medicine is not for me. So then I was like, well, I already was taking theater classes, and so I switched to a theater major, and now I just have a biology major. So really, ultimately, I hope to do nothing with biology ever again. But, you know, I can tell you that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh, nice. My knowledge pretty much begins and ends with chlorophyll, more like borophyll. So I'm still trying to figure this out, because at some point someone's going to approach you for a project that's a theatrical project where your biology will come into it at some point. And I don't know what that is, but you'll remember that day. Like, remember that real jerk who came in and did the podcast thing and he told me these things were going to link? Most of the people I know who've been successful in some type of like theatrical endeavor come from a background that has nothing to do with it. So they bring something unique to the table that not everybody else does or experiences, and that's why they are a little more unique in that way. So don't forget about the powerhouse.
Well, yeah, and I could be the next Bill Nye the Science Guy or something. If they ever need a kids show about biology, sign me up.
Would you ever want to host a show for children?
I don't know. Children are kind of little grimy creatures.
Well, I didn't say
but-
they had to be in it. It's just for them.
Oh, for them,
Yeah.
yes.
Have you heard about this Blippi?
Who?
Blippy?
No.
So my co-host has young children, and right now they're really not Tucker. No. My co-host is my day job, the one that actually pays the bills, because we haven't gotten any of the sweet podcast money from something like Squarespace yet. Eventually, they'll find us after maybe episode 500. So she's got these kids and they're obsessed with Blippi right now. And Blippi is this dude who wears orange suspenders and bright orange rimmed glasses. And he's like, hey, today we're going to go to the aquarium. Whoa, fish. And I can understand why kids love it, right? This dude's got tons of energy. But the interesting thing about him is this is a guy who tried 9 different YouTube channels, and they're all.
This is the one that.
This is the one that stuck, and the other ones not kid friendly at all, not at all. And so they're finding more about this. And he was smart enough to say, "Listen, I own the Blippi character, but I don't want to be with kids all the time." So other people auditioned to be Blippi at like Blippi Live, and
But it's not actually the
but it's
same
not
Blippi.
Blippi,
Wow.
right?
Scamming children.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, let's face it, they're chumps, right? Children are chumps. As long as they get that sweet hit of Blippi that they want, and Blippi reaches out and like puts some like glitter on their face. I don't know what he does at live events. I haven't been to one of those. Only the videos I've been forced to watch. So maybe you got this television show and you're the next Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Or the next Blippi. You never know.
Yeah, don't be the next Blippi. You can be better than Blippi. Okay. In fact, that should be really like Dr. Jill Biden's next like mantra is be better than Blippi.
I'll create a YouTube channel specifically that says better than Blippi. That'll be my name.
Do you know what? Like that's actually kind of a good idea because people who are fans of Blippi would click on that to be like, yeah, there's no way that she's better than Blippi. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it is. It's just about controversy, right? There's a lot of people out there who'll try and get you to listen to their podcast because they're going to say something controversial. They're going to throw something out there that is going to just absolutely change the way you think about balloons from China or whatever the big thing is at the moment. You don't really strike me as someone, though, who wants to get embroiled in controversy. But would you?
I don't know. I kind of like the drama sometimes.
Okay, tell me something controversial. Tell me something, an opinion you have that's controversial and ridiculous because it's controversial. For example, I do not like mayonnaise, as we said earlier. There are people who immediately were like, okay, well, whatever.
Okay, well, this isn't really an opinion, but it relates to mayonnaise. As a child, I hated it so much that I couldn't stand to like look at it. So whenever my mom bought mayonnaise, I would throw it away immediately. I don't do that anymore because money, but when you're young, you don't understand the concept of money. And so I would just continuously be throwing away jars of mayonnaise. And my mom was always like, where's the mayo? And I was like, I don't know.
What's that called when you like your mom just bought mayonnaise, she put it in the shelf and now it's gone and she's starting to go and say like the psychological warfare of that?
I had, when I was a kid, Abigail, my grandfather smoked cigarettes and he was a pack a day at least. And I knew that smoking was bad. So I would sneak his cigarettes and take them down in the basement. And then I just put them in this grinder. There was a grinder down there. So I had a box underneath that was just filled with tobacco. It was just up to the like big boxes. And I would just hide them under the staircase, just stack them. I don't know how many hundreds of dollars I cost my grandfather in cigarettes, but I got busted. And my grandmother, instead of shaming me, she said, it's okay what you did. I know you were doing it because you love Grandpa and you don't want his health to be adversely affected. So I didn't get in trouble. But she said, he's an adult and he has a lot of money, so he's just going to go and buy more cigarettes. And I was a little deflated by that, but I like your story about the
ready for you to be like, my grandfather made me re-roll every single one of those cigarettes by hand.
Because in my family, the first thing they would think is not that I was smoking them. Right. That would be the last thing that my grandma and my mom are probably like, where are all these cigarettes disappearing? They weren't assuming I was like selling them to kids, singles. I was selling singles at the playground. So sorry.
With your leather jacket on and all that kind of stuff.
Now, before we finish up with Abigail, tell what you think your podcast might be about.
Okay, so originally I wanted to do something related to like sharing stories of various disabled people, but then I realized I already have like an outlet for that because I make TikTok videos about like disability awareness and I have a decent sized following.
Throw out your TikTok and people follow it right now.
My TikTok is Abigail Vogler, ABIGAIL VOGELER. It's just my name. But yeah, shout out. Go follow my TikTok account. But now I'm leaning towards just doing something fun because my roommates and I like to play Fortnite. And for some reason, one of my roommates in particular always asks us the most philosophical, like deep questions while we're playing Fortnite. And I don't know if I can say this, but while he's intoxicated.
Sure.
He's over 21. So I just think it's funny because we have some of our most meaningful and deep conversations while we're like playing a game, shooting at, third graders. It's that sounds bad, but
characters played by third graders.
Yes,
if we're going to be specific.
We're not shooting. Okay, I digging myself.
Now who's a
here.
jerk? Thank
But
God.
I know I could call it like Fortnite and philosophy or something.
It is interesting. I think when you can take someone out of their comfort zone a little bit, and so by playing Fortnite, you're engaging in something else, and so it changes your brain to how you're going to move on that next level. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'd listen to that. I'd also watch it as a YouTube series. Not going to lie. Okay, Abigail, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jordan's coming, then we'll go marry. Oh my! Jordan might let a few.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't like try hard not to do it.
No, you can swear if you want.
So basically, what we tell people every time they're on our show, because I don't want to go through the work of censoring all that stuff, but it's always up to the guest. So I always say, speak as freely as you feel comfortable, and we'll match you. So we're not going to stop. We're not going to start dropping, any F-bombs unless you start. And they're like, oh, you gave us permission. Okay, and then we'll go for it. But
Also, don't forget, you pay to be here, so you can
That's
do
true.
whatever you want while you're here. You're renting the space. I'm sorry, what is your name?
Jordan, but I'm also a JJ. So
Are you really?
we're gonna have a JJ off right now.
Nice. Okay, listen, the former mayor of Moorhead also went by JJ, and he's not around anymore, is he?
That was my uncle, you know that? That's why I'm JJ.
You is
No,
not.
it is my great uncle.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You're a dirty liar, JJ. And you know how I know that?
How?
Because he's from the South originally, and he has no family.
So am I.
No.
I am from the South. That's my Mima. My people.
He's also black.
So what?
So, yeah, I know. In today's world, just keep digging that hole, JJ. Just keep digging that hole. So the name of the podcast is JJ Meets World. So it's literally JJ Meets World JJ.
JJ,
So this is
JJ,
good.
not squared. Wait, squared.
Yeah, J squared.
Yeah.
J
so now
cubed if you want.
We can make another Snapchat J cubed, but like spelled out. 2 + 4 = like 10, maybe. Because we don't like math. We've established this.
Right, so that it doesn't work out the math way.
So
Yeah.
your JJ stands for Jordan, and then your last name. His stands for each J in his
don't say it.
stands,
Don't say it out loud.
stands for JJ. So his full
JJ,
name
JJ
is JJ
Gordon.
JJ Gordon.
Oh my God. So you're actually a fraud. It's
No.
not. It's not just JJ. It's JJJ.
I mean, it depends on what you want.
Gordon.
JJ. Oh my God. So it's really this podcast right now is JJ. Us.
That's right. That's right. There's
Wow.
6 J's in here. So okay. So how you've gone by JJ your whole life, or
No, I actually go by Jordan, but
you go by Jordan?
well,
okay.
both. I don't know.
Who calls you JJ other than me forever?
Like a lot of my friends and my teammates and my parents sometimes. I don't know. I have a lot of nicknames.
Teammates.
I play volleyball and I do track here also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have the word field in there, so you're not doing
Field
like
too.
the throwings of
Not
the
the
things.
throwing. Lacking a little bit arm
In the
muscle
arm
for
strength,
that.
yeah.
But I do like jumping, running, all that kind of crap. Actually, I do throw. I throw javelin.
Do you
So,
really?
Yes, but I haven't yet because I got ankle surgery last spring and it's only a spring thing. So yeah,
Are you looking forward to throwing javelins?
yes, but I really am kind of a little scared for it.
My dad was track and field and
Okay.
went to got a full ride scholarship. And then during a pole vault, his senior year of high school,
Mhm.
broke one of his ankles. And then it was like, so long.
My dad had a very similar thing happen. Where did your dad go?
Oh my
Okay.
God. Well, let's say it at the same time. Maybe
Okay,
this is
ready?
going to be
Ready?
crazy. Okay.
On
One-
3 or after 3? Wait.
On like 3 and then
Okay,
the thing.
okay.
1, 2, 3. Brandon.
NDSU.
Oh, thank God.
Maybe we would have had the same dad.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it? That's what I was worried about, Jordan.
You would be my dad's bastard child because I'm just the star. So
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I won a Marconi Award, no big deal or anything like
that's
that.
honestly, that's okay.
You're on a
Because
volleyball
I'm our dad's
team.
favorite, so
So,
you can shut up.
what position do you play? Do you play positions in volleyball?
Yes, I'm a middle hitter, which is new. I've always been an outside, so
So
different.
my knowledge of volleyball is bump, set, spike.
Spike.
Yep. Is that still how they all work?
Sure.
Okay. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the basics.
So you're really worried about swearing when you came up. So first of all, a
Yes.
nice thing about podcasting is it's not overseen by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission.
Thank God.
Meaning that you can literally say whatever you want. It doesn't even fall under the guidelines of like what YouTube has for fake news
Okay.
and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
you literally can say whatever you want, which makes it a very dangerous medium.
I was just worried because I didn't want to like hurt
You
his
wanna
feelings.
offend-
I didn't want to offend him. I didn't want
It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
to. Okay, good.
I think
Well,
he's,
just
I
asked
think
in
he's
our-
heard those words before too.
Yes, I love profanity.
It's so great. Why
Especially
say a
if it's
normal word
really
when you can
good
swear?
profanity.
Yes,
I know.
My father was an artist with the profanity. So growing up, I got called all kinds of things.
It's just so
I have no doubt he
awesome.
loves me, but he would string together very creative sets of profanity, and so
So did you watch like Beavis and Butthead and those kind of shows?
my dad at that time in his career was teaching, kids who had behavioral issues.
Mhm.
He started as an industrial arts teacher, but he watched Beavis and Butthead religiously
Mhm.
so he could communicate with his students more effectively. He thought it was so unlike
Oh
my
my
dad,
God.
if you know him, that he would watch Beavis and Butthead. But
That
he
is
did.
the coolest thing about your dad I've ever learned.
And it's absolutely true.
It's an amazing show. My dad also showed me it. So this is a podcast about Dad's
my
Bastard and
dad
Beavis and
didn't care
Butthead.
for that show. He didn't like MTV in general. So
Well, that's your fake dad.
So we're even going even further on these things, which is
We are.
really nice. It's nice to know that we're splitting apart here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jordan, did you tell me what you're studying? I'm sorry.
I'm a communications studies major with a minor in marketing.
Okay, so do you want to combine those two things together?
Sure.
I mean, really, a lot of communications it has a hand in marketing,
Yeah.
right? So you're selling something you're saying or putting out there that you
Yes.
want people to listen to.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of marketing that you've ever encountered?
There's no such thing as bad marketing and bad publicity because if you're getting your name out there, even if it's in a bad way, your name's out there. And I did not learn that from college, actually. The Kardashians. She came out with a sex tape, and she's like the biggest, baddest bitch around now. Like what?
Yeah.
She's
a
going to
billionaire.
Harvard Law now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
All she had to do, the worst part about that tape is
chasing
there's
that
like
bag.
60 minutes of her and Ray J just wandering around
so
Las
you've seen
Vegas. Yeah.
you're a dirty bastard.
Yeah, sure, okay. I mean, it's a cultural
It's a cultural
like moment,
thing.
right?
Once I found out about it, I tried looking it up
And
too.
do you know that there's actually a mini-series coming out about that? So the Pam and Tommy mini-series that came out
that
last
was so
year.
good.
I know, it was really
So
good. But you
good. I
know that
just-
she
yeah.
hates that? She,
Yes.
like, Pamela Anderson
Yep.
hates it?
I just watched her documentary too.
Yeah, I'm listening to her book right now.
I don't know if she had a book.
fascinating. Well, I'll be honest. I have prejudged her as this
A dumb blonde bitch, yeah.
Baywatch woman, and
Mhm.
I feel bad for the way I've treated her
Yeah.
like the last 20 years of being like she's a washed up has been, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing now a miniseries about the Kardashian because that one was interesting in the fact that it kicked off this world of celebrities selling the tapes themselves directly to the companies. So
OnlyFans.
Paris Hilton had one that came out,
Also a
and
queen.
that was. Do we still consider her a queen?
She is the queen of all queens. She's like the shit. Not
Paris
shit. She's the
Hilton?
shit. Paris Hilton is like, okay, I'm actually a blonde. I just dyed my hair brown,
Uh-huh.
which is, we're not talking about. We're going back to it. But
Okay, yeah, okay.
Paris Hilton is basically like the goddess mommy. I don't know. She's just like amazing. And
The mother sauce.
yeah, she's the mother. She is the mother sauce. And I am obviously go dyeing my hair back to blonde. It was stupid, but whatever.
Mhm.
She is like, I'm not a
Paris
music major.
Hilton.
Paris Hilton is the shit.
Okay.
Have you ever watched The Simple Life?
Nope,
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
nope. I didn't
Oh
get into
my
that show
God.
at all.
It's her and her friend Nicole Richie.
I know the premise of the show.
Yes, and it is so
I know what the
fucking
cover
funny.
of the DVD case looks like. I worked at a video store.
It's amazing.
For you kids, that's a place where you could go and rent videotapes before Netflix became the place. Okay, I find that absolutely fascinating because I
Yeah.
do agree. She had a moment. They put her in the Cat in the Hat movie with Mike Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if a kid watched that, they'd be like, first of all, what is this nightmare fuel? Secondly, who is that girl grinding against Mike Myers in a cat suit?
Goddess, not girl. Goddess.
Gotcha.
What is the
Goddess.
Kardashians miniseries called? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's titled yet, but it's about the tape release itself. So Hulu's producing it again. So it'll be
Oh,
a big
Hulu,
one.
they've been doing a great job with their show.
They have been crushing it. You watch The Bear yet? We got to
No.
end this thing.
Yeah, we do.
What's your podcast going to be about?
Probably How Not to Suck, I would call it.
How not to suck.
Yeah. There are a
Okay.
lot of just like bitches out there and they need to be told how not to suck.
So it's Okay, so it's just for bitches.
She was so worried about cursing when she
no,
walked up to the
I'm
table.
holding it back. I was gonna say something with Kardashians and then a word that starts with.
Nope, you
it
don't-
would have been a K because you had to.
They call
I didn't say
they
that one.
call this a tease. So,
Yes.
you know, like you just make people think about it because whatever you
I'm not saying it.
Right, exactly. And their imagination is going to do something a million times worse than you could ever
Yep.
say on here.
Yep.
JJ, aka Jordan, this is a lot of fun. I feel like I could do a full episode with you.
I would
and
love
then
to.
afterwards I'd cry.
Probably.
Right?
It's like an emotional roller coaster. I'll have you like crying, laughing, screaming. Some
Right.
maybe.
And I want to learn how to not suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will come on the show and do another one.
Okay. I'll tune into your podcast as well.
Yeah.
Is it sort of like, you know, you anyway.
It's gonna be
no.
good. You'll probably need it since we don't have the same dad.
Probably, right? Yeah, exactly. Hey, you want to know something?
What?
On April 6th,
just kidding.
on April 6th, I celebrate the 20th anniversary of my dad's death.
Oh
So, how good do you feel right now? By the way, he went by
Rest in
JD.
peace, Dad.
What's your dad's name?
Matt.
Okay. Even further. Fantastic. JD, this was fun.
I rest in peace.
You want a job at KFGO? You got it.
I was our next guest is coming up. I was waiting. I was waiting for JJ to pull that at the end. I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
all fun. I'm sorry,
all-
what's your name?
My name's Mary.
Mary?
Yes.
Mary.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Don't worry. You can't hurt it. Like, just get it wherever it's comfortable. Mary, welcome to JJ Meets World. How many podcasts have you been on?
Let's see. None.
This is your first foray into podcasting?
Yes. I mean, we did one like fake podcast at the beginning of the semester, but
Good. I mean, this is
call
just
that a
one
real
step
sem-
above a fake podcast. So,
Oh yeah, totally.
are you intimidated by microphones?
Oh, actually, no. I've used a lot of microphones in my time, but it's always, they're all different, and some of
What
them
are
are
you
like,
doing with these microphones?
it's just,
It's like karaoke for one.
honestly relatable.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I do a lot of theater and also so my mom is a organist at church, so she forced me into singing at church a lot when I was younger.
Does your mom have those special like slippers that you wear when you play the organ?
No, she just
organist
goes,
slippers?
She just socks.
I got in big. Okay, so she takes her shoes off. She's not
Well,
gonna.
yeah, you're
yeah.
not supposed to use shoes on
Right.
the
I got in
organ.
big trouble at a church once for going up and being like, beep, 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 beep. And it wasn't because what I was playing. It was because I was wearing my shoes while working the pedals.
So a couple years ago, one of my mom's relatives got married, and me and her were hired, quote unquote, to do the music for the wedding. And
What could quote unquote mean,
I mean,
other than actually being hired to work there?
to be fair,
Were you blackmailed into it? Did
I
they
mean-
force you in some way?
to be fair, you can't really say no to relatives. Like you can,
Oh, sure.
but like then you're just a jerk. So
Have you ever heard the term voluntold?
yes,
Yeah,
that's
so
what
you
my
were
mom makes me do.
voluntold for it.
Just like singing at church in general. I was more told, not voluntold, but but have you ever been down to St. John's, like the college down in
yeah.
the cities?
Mhm.
I can't remember what the cathedral is called, or like the church there is called, but they have monks there, and the piano that they have was a little bit like you could see fingerprints on the top. So my mom was like, "Oh, can we get like a towel to clean it off before the wedding for like the videos and stuff?" And this monk got mad. He was like, "No, I will do it." And we were all like, "Okay, like what, we just wanted to wipe off the top."
Like,
So now
these are Brother Jebediah's fingerprints.
yes,
How dare you.
He was very offended. So yeah, my mom made enemies with monks that day.
And you don't want to mess with monks. I mean,
No.
you can mess with
Especially
your clergy.
Shaolin monks.
Right, yeah.
You just really don't
Or
want to.
Tony Shalhoub. Because that way, if you commit a murder, he'll solve it.
Or you just have to make a
television
better
show
murder.
that aired, and you had to watch it when it aired. Something that your generation doesn't understand either. Okay, so do you have a favorite piece of like church music? So it sounds like
dear
you've
Lord,
done a
no.
lot of stuff. No,
No. Honestly, half the time I don't remember what I sing. So
What about, do you know Earth and All Stars? You know that one? That hymn?
I would probably know the melody, but
It's
the
a back
words.
to school hymn. And there's a verse in there where it talks about loud boiling test tubes is one of the lines. And growing up, I was like, what? Who wrote this hymn? And when did this thing come out?
You know what's really funny? So, my dad's side of the family is Serbian, and so we went to a Serbian Orthodox mass for a few years ago, for Serbian Christmas, and so they do
as
all.
opposed to regular Christmas.
They're
Big time.
they're actually on different days, and it's like a completely
What?
different holiday. Yeah.
Like how far off? Like is it in July or?
It's in January, but because of like different calendars and stuff, like they
So
use.
at one point, the king of Serbia is like, "Oh, let's get together on Christmas, July 5th or January 5th," and they're like, "No." They're like, "No, I'm the king. All calendars now."
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, fam, this is what I'm doing." But they say everything in threes at Serbian Orthodox masses, and one thing they start rambling off this stuff like God protect us from this, and then they go alien invasion. And of course, the first time you hear it, you're like, "Wait, what?" And then you're like, "Oh wait, they'll say it again, so don't worry, we're fine. Like we can make sure that they." And so then they said it again, and I look at my mom, and I'm like, "Okay." So they did actually just say alien invasion. So if you're a Serbian Orthodox, you're protected against alien invasion, as we talked about.
They don't add like zombie attack or
Maybe nowadays. This was a few years ago, so that the list may have been updated. You know, like COVID, zombies, vampires, you never know.
werewolves, you know.
Twilight, you know.
I am I'm a guest pastor at my wife's church.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, it's in rural North Dakota. And so whenever their regular pastor goes on vacation, they're like, "Could you come do this?" I have no formal training. My knowledge of speaking in front of people about belief comes solely from movies. So I have curbed speeches from Bruce Almighty.
Honestly, that's
that
a
one
great
with Ed
movie.
Norton. It's
Morgan
a great movie.
Freeman is God. I mean, like, how can you get better than that?
And I guarantee you, none of the old fuddy-duddies at this church have ever seen that movie. So
Oh,
I got
100%
away
not.
with it, hook, line, and sinker.
And they probably think it's the best thing they've ever heard. They're
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
Now, this is the downside. I can't sing. And there are people who are like, "I can't sing." And they're like, "Oh, anyone can sing. It's no big deal." No, I'm just someone who does not have that skill set. I love musicals. I love singing. I just can't do it myself. So when I pick music, I pick the most monotone songs so that when they're hearing me go, leaning,
That's
it
when you
doesn't
turn your
sound that
microphone
far
off.
off, right?
I mean, you could just turn your microphone off and
No,
pretend
I
you're
can't
singing.
because they all need those earpieces because they're so old.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so what I could do is I could hold my phone up and have like the True Grit soundtrack playing, and I could probably get away with
Have
that.
someone, like in the rectory, just singing, so then you don't just lip sync.
Rectory, girl, this is a Quonset that they pray out of. Okay, there's not a
mean-
lot going to it.
Just like outside, then.
Oh, sure. Okay, so what's the podcast you want to do?
Okay, so I haven't fully fleshed it out yet, but I know a name. It's going to be called the Bad Ideas Podcast because honestly, I have a lot of bad ideas. But
So it's gonna be you pitching the audience every episode.
I'd like to have like kind of like this like conversation and just talk about random stuff every week. One of my favorite podcasts is the Distractable Podcast by Markiplier, Wade, and Bob. And I don't know their last names, but they kind of just talk about random stuff every week, and it's really funny. So that's kind of the gist of it. Is like they have one of them is like the host every week, and they kind of come up with different topics to talk about. So
Well, I would say you definitely need someone to play like the straight character in it, right? The person's like, "That's a horrible idea, Mary. That's a horrible idea," and then show you the reasons why it's a horrible idea, and then you can combat that. So, essentially they act as the listener who's listening to you being like, "I want to put monster truck tires on my Volvo. I think it would be so awesome to drive around town with that." And they'd be like, "What a waste of gas."
I would. My sister used to have cows, and I wanted to ride those cows like down the street. That would have been fun. Have you ever seen that? Like people actually like horses?
I haven't. If I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen people ride cows.
It is a thing, and they will go to like McDonald's and
On the cows?
yeah.
What town are you from?
To teach the cows a lesson.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Like,
from-
It is. It's like walking you through a cemetery while
You know,
you're undergoing cancer treatment.
Hey, I am only like an hour away from Ely, so I have been to the Wolf
the
Center.
Wolf Center?
Yeah, I also have been to the Bear Center. I will say,
Wait,
hot
what?
take,
Hold on. Bear Center.
the Bear Center is so much more fun than the Wolf Center, and I'm a wolf girl here, so this is like,
Are you gonna be on Wolf Wednesday?
oh, 100%. Like,
Okay.
you got to have me back.
Yeah. Okay.
If this is the year of the wolf.
It is. It is the year of the wolf. Shout out to
Canis
Maddie, the educator I've been talking to from the Ely Wolf Center. Mary, we covered a lot of ground in this one. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. Mother sauce, mother sauce, mother sauce.